My lovelies. I actually have a whole fortnight to talk about, so this isn't what I wore last week so much as it is what I wore last fortnight. But because it's been 2 weeks and it's been really hot, and I've also had holiday and I've been away to see my family, I've got 17 perfumes to talk about, so I'm going to have to break this into two halves because otherwise it's just going to be way too long. It's going to take me forever to upload it and blah, blah, blah. So the first half I'm going to do today on my normal Sunday, and then the next half will be on the Wednesday when I normally put up a video that isn't this. But anyway, let's get going with one that's just one of my all-time faves, top 10 for life. You know it if you watch me. I've talked about it a lot. Boom Green Tea Cherry Blossom. Wonderful time of year to wear it, although honestly it just smells good all the time. This is a Jean Arthur's perfume from the Boom collection. Sadly discontinued, but if you can find it anywhere, I think it's just so beautiful. I love this perfume. So this is top notes of tea, lemon, pear, mid notes of cherry blossom, blackcurrant and rose, base notes peach and musk. And we had like a quite hot week, and then in the UK we've literally just coming out of a crazy heat wave. I think it got up to about 37 degrees in London. It got up to 32 degrees in my flat, and that was at night time. It just a sweaty nightmare, to be honest. So some of these perfumes are from the week where it was just hot. And some of these perfumes, and you'll probably know which ones, I'll point them out anyway, are from when it was absolutely almost unbearable. So this was when it was just hot though. I think I could wear this in very hot weather, but because it's a little bit sweeter and a little bit more fruity, like in a kind of slightly floral berry and pear way, I don't necessarily always go for this like when it's boiling, but definitely when it's really hot. Like, it's just so beautiful. You can smell all of the notes in this one, like, quite clearly, I'd say. So yeah, it's just one of my all-time favourites. I love it. And then let's do, this was on one of the days where it wasn't unbearably hot. Just a beauty. I just fancied it. I was just thinking about it. Lanvin Modern Princess. Absolutely love Modern Princess. I think it's one of Lanvin's best. It's just such a perfect, musky, gentle, like youthful smelling red apple. Like red apple and freesia, I always think of this perfume as, but the actual full set of notes are red apple and red currant in the top, and then the mid notes are freesia and jasmine, base notes vanilla orchid, white musk and whitewoods. I just adore the red apple in this perfume. I adore the fact it has that kind of a slightly dense, creamy, like soapy musk. Not in a sharp way, just in like a kind of white bar soapy creamy musk. But this one has such a lovely sugary sweetness. I don't know if it's from that vanilla orchid or whether they're just not talking about what they've used here. But the musk is cut through by that delicious juicy apple. And then it's just got this delicious sweetness. So it almost smells like it's got a hint of like a gourmand fruity sweetness. It's just gorgeous. I love it. So Modern Princess, I've already finished my 30ml of that. I've started on this big 100ml. I just think it's absolutely scrumptious. And then let's do this one. So why did I put this one on? I think I was just thinking again of something that my husband might quite like, and it was quite a hot day. And it's just very pretty. I was thinking about it. So this is a lovely summer Sunburst from Sarah Jessica Parker. Fabulous bottle, as you can see. Beautiful colour. And unlike the original Lovely Summer, the bottle perfectly matches how this smells. I think if you know what Byredo Sundays smells like, it's a little bit like that. Also, I think maybe the more famous one is, of course, Love Don't Be Shy. And I feel like if you like made that much fresher and more juicy and not as sickly sweet, this is somewhere in the realm of that. Also somewhere in the realm of a less herbaceous Oyedo from Diptyque, that kind of thing. It's like the orange blossom neroli and delicious, juicy, fruity oranges, but then with this interesting, very sort of candy flossy sweetness in here. Very, very pretty. So the notes here are mandarin and orange and neroli in the top, iris, jasmine and lily of the valley in the mid, amber tonic, skin, cedarwood and musk in the base. There's not really anything here that describes why this has got that really kind of slightly sugary sweetness in here. But it's very pretty, and this definitely lends itself very well to warmer weather. Like I liked this when I've worn it before. I really, really enjoyed especially how this dried down with that sweet, like almost sticky, sweet, fruity muskiness in the base. I really, really liked it. And for me, this is one where the neroli is not overwhelming, because sometimes I find neroli so green and bitter that it puts me off a little bit. Or at least I sort of have to get through the initial stages of that bitterness before I can enjoy a perfume. This one's just really fresh and nice and pretty. My husband said I smelt nice. He always likes perfumes that have a bit of an orangey smell to them. I think he quite likes orange blossom as well. So yeah, just absolutely gorgeous. And I will talk in a minute as well about something else I wore that smells very similar to this, but is possibly even cheaper if you're in the UK. So, lovely. A lovely summer sunburst. What should I do now? All right, I've got 2 bangers from very hot weather and then a declutter. Let's start with the declutter. I wore 2 things in the last fortnight that I've decided I will just be decluttering. One of which just because I just don't think I'm going to wear it, and the other because I really loved this at first, but it's been a few years now, and every time I try to wear it, for some reason it's just not hitting with me the way it used to, and it has discontinued. So in case someone else wants it, it's so pretty. See, I'm smelling it now and I'm like, it's really pretty, but for some reason I don't really enjoy wearing it at the moment, or for the last like couple of years. So I might just because I've got some samples of this still from when I first sampled it before I bought the bottle. This is Elizabeth Arden White Tea Vanilla Orchid, and this is, I think, the sweetest of the white teas. I for a long time thought this was my favourite, and it probably still is in a way. I just feel like for some reason the white tea perfumes just don't necessarily work for me. Every single one I've bought of them I've ended up decluttering. Some of them definitely have that tarry aroma chemical in them to different extents. But, I mean, possibly the one that I would be the most comfortable wearing now is the Eau Fraiche, which I did have a bottle of and I ended up getting rid of because I was like, I don't think I'm going to wear it. But I think if I was to pick the one that I like the best out of all of them now, I think that Eau Fraiche, which I think has like just a little bit of mango in it, I think that one's actually really nice. So, but anyway, back to Vanilla Orchid. This is thicker and sweeter, more feminine than any of the others that I've smelt from the collection. And the thing with this one, it kind of reminds me of Prerogative from Britney Spears, specifically the Ego version. It also reminds me a little bit of Aqua Colonia Goji Berry and Cactus, which is a perfume I do have. And I think maybe that's part of it, that I think I've kind of gone off Prerogative, which I have. I got rid of Prerogative Ego, which was the even sweeter version. And Goji Cactus is the go-to for this profile for me because it's a little bit juicier. Whereas this one is a little bit creamier and a bit sweeter. Same with Prerogative. But they all have this kind of weird overlapping scent. This has also been compared to Cinema from Yves Saint Laurent, and I don't really get that at all. I do get a little bit of indie in this, a little bit of that kind of musky, creamy, sandalwoody smell that you get in anything that smells like indie. But yeah, I don't know. I think I just keep trying to make this one work for me, and for some reason I had like one summer where I was obsessed with this perfume. I wore it loads, and now I just don't want to wear it anymore. So I've given it a couple of years to see whether I'll come back round to it, and I think I might just have to let it go, and I'll keep the sample so that if I do ever get the craving to try it again, I still, it's not like I'm never going to be able to wear this again, because I have like at least 2 or 3 little samples. So this is quince, bergamot, elemi and lemon. In the top, mid notes are vanilla orchid, white tea, gardenia and jasmine. And then the base notes are vanilla, musk, orris, amberwood and ambrat. And yeah, I mean, I don't really know why this smells like a kind of creamy, very sugary goji berry perfume. But that's what I'm getting, because goji and cactus and prerogative, which I think also has goji berries in it, they smell quite similar to me. And this one also smells like that, but very different notes. It is definitely a more chilled out version of prerogative, but it's that same kind of feel. Like I said, very beautiful. I think, though, I will pass it on thinking that maybe someone out there is really wanting to get a hold of this because they don't make it anymore, which, you know, a bit of a shame. It's much nicer than some of the other ones, though, I'm just saying. I think, is there one called Tea Rose or something, or Wild Rose? I really didn't like that one. Okay, so this guy, this was on one of the days when it was really starting to get very hot. Although, to be honest, I feel like some of these I must have just worn in the morning, because I've got 17. But there were definitely a couple while I was away where I wore something different in the morning and in the evening. But I went for the body spray version of this, even though I do have the Eau de Parfum in the most beautiful bottle. But Born Lovely, I really, really, really like this body spray for when it's hot weather, or like if you're like a gym person. I took it with me when I went and got married, so that when I got up in the morning for a coffee, or if I went and had a swim, I put this on first, because it's just fresh and clean and yummy. It's just such a beautiful perfume. Really, really easy to wear. I think for the people who really love Lovely and find that one easy to wear, this is kind of my version of Lovely. This is the one that works for me kind of any time and just smells good on me. So what's actually in Born Lovely is peony, cassis and mandarin orange in the top, mid notes of freesia, orange blossom and honeysuckle in the mid, and then in the base, cedar, patchouli and caramel. I don't get a load of patchouli. I do get a decent amount of cedar. The caramel, I realise, only comes through to me in colder weather. In warmer weather, I don't get that. There's just a general sweetness, but I don't recognise it as caramel. I feel like the base notes in colder weather are more noticeable as the actual notes. But for me, I get blackcurrant, peony, and then probably a bit of honeysuckle. And what I'm getting from the general florals in here is basically a wet laundry with a feminine lilt. That's kind of what this smells like to me. It doesn't list musk. There's 100% musk in this perfume. I just don't understand why it doesn't say that there's musk. I'm absolutely 100% sure there's musk in this. But it's not. It does have some crossovers with the original Lovely, but it doesn't really smell too much like it, which is why I like it. I find the original Lovely a little bit too acidic, a little bit sharp, astringent, I think is the word I'm looking for. Kind of the same way I get with a lot of grapefruit and patchouli perfumes. I find them a little bit astringent. And the musk in that one I don't love compared to the musk in her other perfumes, but I just love Born Lovely, and I really do think that the body spray is so delicious and good. So perfect for really hot weather. I mean, I can't have hot weather and not wear this. I've worn this so many times, guys. I took the little one down with me to my mum and dad's when I went to see my fam, and I wore it a lot there, like just around the house, and then I might put something different on in the evening. I've been putting this on before bed sometimes. I've been putting it on first thing in the morning. I've been wearing it the whole day. I've been reapplying it because I just think it's so fresh. I'm obsessed. I love it. You know what it's going to be, right? Because it's hot weather. I mean, of course I'm wearing green tea like it's going out of fashion. I just love it. I love Green Tea by Elizabeth Arden. I've always loved it. I'm always going to love it. I'd be happy if my entire house smelt like green tea. I love it. I love it. And I don't need to talk about it much because everyone knows about it. I always try the flankers if I can, but I just don't really care about them because the only one I'm interested in is this original one. Because anything that smells like green tea but isn't green tea is just not good for me. Like, I got something recently that has quite a lot of similarities with green tea, and all it made me think was I just want to wear Elizabeth Arden green tea. So that's how I feel about this one. I love it. So lemon, bergamot, mint, orange peel, rhubarb in the top, mid notes of jasmine, musk, oak moss, fennel, carnation and white amber. Base notes: green tea, jasmine, musk, oak moss, celery seeds, caraway, cloves and amber. It's Francis Kurkdushan's best ever perfume. Some people say Baccarat Rouge. I say no. I say it's green tea. It's Amazing. Excuse me. I think it's wonderful. So I don't need to say much else about it. I just think it's so good. And honestly, I know people say it doesn't last, but I woke up and I still smelt this on my skin. And when I got in the shower, my whole shower smelled like green tea. So possibly that's because it's been like so hot, like so 30 plus degrees in my flat. Maybe this is just so much better in very hot weather. I don't know, but I could so clearly still smell this when I woke up, on not just on myself, on my hands, which I'm constantly washing. So I don't know. I just think it's so good. I'm just obsessed with it. Moving on before I sound like an absolute loon. All right. You know it's hot if I'm wearing this. You know that it's almost unbearably hot if I'm wearing this. Yep. Aqua Colonia, lychee and white mint. And this is a perfume I really do only wear when it's extremely hot. Because mint is brilliant at this time of year, and because this has the lychee, it has a sweetness to it as well, so it makes it nice and bright and fresh, but not like too sharp. It's not too toothpastey because of that lychee. I'm not sure if I smelt this I would instantly be like, oh yeah, that's lychee. It doesn't have the same aggressively like shrieky sharpness that a lot of perfumes with lychee in. So this is obviously some kind of different aroma chemical, this particular lychee, because it's quite sugary. Yeah, I don't find it quite as sharp as a lot of lychees, which is interesting because when I eat lychees I don't find them particularly sharp either, but for some reason in perfumes they seem to come across a bit screechy. This is extremely unisex, veering I would say maybe a tiny bit into being tiny bit masculine because of that mint, and I do think there's probably some kind of wood in here as well. Wearing it this time I was more aware that there is some kind of bitter woodiness coming through with everything else. I think there's probably some kind of musk in here, but it's very refreshing, it's very bright. This is something I put on when I was like so hot. I was like, mint, I need some mint. And you'll see in part 2 there's also stuff with mint, or at least one that has mint. This has mint. Very refreshing, really good thing for when it's ridiculously hot. So yeah, not much else to say about this. It's just lychee mint. It's a classic for hot weather. And then the last one for this vid. So this one, I just still have this travel spray because I bought a set which had the bottle, like I think a 50ml bottle or a 40ml bottle or something. And then it came with this little 9ml travel spray as well. I gave the actual bottle away. This is Citrus Soleil number 4 from Marks and Spencer's, from their, is it Provence range or something? So Citrus Soleil, the reason that I gave away the bottle is it's very similar to a Lovely Summer, and I just really like the bottle of a Lovely Summer. So I had to sort of, I was like, I don't need 2 proper full-size bottles of the same, what's essentially the same perfume. They smell similar enough that I was like, I don't need both. But I can't get rid of this bottle. Even though, to be fair, it's a very pretty bottle that you get from Marks and Spencer's as well. But I gave it away to someone at work, and I hope they're loving it. It's so lovely, though. Like, I mean, I'm really glad that I kept this pen spray because it was a really good thing to take down to my parents. I wore this throughout the day knowing I was going to wear... You know what? I might actually have to talk about that now, right? Because otherwise you'll have to wait. So I wore this during the day because I went down, because June is basically birthday festival. It's both of my nephews, my sister, my husband. It's Father's Day, and then my dad's birthday is early in July. So I was just like, okay, I always go down in June. I nearly always go down for my sister's birthday, and and we go out and we do things, we have fun, we celebrate. So I already knew I was going to wear a kind of fancier perfume in the evening because we were going out for food and drinks, like cocktails and lovely stuff. We had tapas, it was delicious, and too much sangria, and yeah, I don't normally drink alcohol, so it was a little bit messy, I won't lie. But anyway, so I was like, okay, I know what I'm going to wear in the evening, and I know it's going to have a certain vibe to it. I wanted something I could wear throughout the day that even if I, like, after I showered, it was kind of still there a little bit, it wasn't going to interfere. And this was the perfect thing, the perfect size. So the notes in this, we've got mandarin, orange and lemon in the top, mid notes, orange blossom, neroli, jasmine, base notes, musk. There is also a very sugary sweetness in here that is not explained. It's exactly the same kind of thing that I said with the lovely summer, which is it's just unexplainably, that's not a word, is it? There is an unexplained, very sugary, almost candy flossy sweetness sitting under everything else, you know? But it's definitely very orangey and very orange blossomy, or neroli-y, but again, not too bitter. Beautiful, really, really lovely. And from Marks and Spencer's on Fragrantica, this is still, they've only still got Provence amongst the orange groves, which is one that I've got a sample of when it was that. It's exactly the same perfume, but they renamed it Citrus Soleil when they redid their Provence range. So the old bottle looks like this. The new bottle's pretty much exactly the same, except it's like a kind of orangey ambery colour, with like an orange ambery lid. Whereas this one is just, it's exactly the same bottle, different colour, different name, but it's the same perfume. I really recommend it. I really think it was about £12 for that gift set. And I think if you're in the UK, it's such a good alternative to things like Oyedo, unless you like the thyme in Oyedo, because that one's quite strong in the thyme. But the general feel of Oyedo, the general feel of Sundazed, a very light take on something like Love Don't Be Shy, like a super chilled, sheer, brighter, more fruity version of that. Or even if you can't get hold of this in the UK, which I think you can, but if you want something cheaper, Citrus Soleil I think is so good. It's such a good one. And then, so in the evening, I wanted to be bougie. I wanted to smell good, and I just knew this was going to smell good in hot weather. Now, this is before it went crazy. This was when it was maybe like 26, 27 degrees before we really got boiling, because I wasn't in London as well, so it's not quite as hot in my hometown. Holy moly, I just think this is so beautiful. Oh my God. It's just so lovely. I love it. I really love it, but it does, again, remind me of a few things. So this is Maison Lancôme, and this is Jasmins Marzipane. I have this little travel size from the Grand Cru set that I treated myself to on Black Friday. And I just knew it would be great for the evening in hot weather, and it was, because I find this genuinely to smell like a lighter, more kind of ethereal, less densely musky version of Pure Poison. Like, this really reminds me of Pure Poison. It's also a perfume by Dominic Ropion, and he is the Pure Poison babe. It's so pretty. Like, it's such a nice perfume, and it was so gorgeous. And my sister actually complimented me. I said to her, "Oh, I'm wearing something bougie or whatever," and she just said, she said, "Oh, you do smell really good," and then she said, "You smell expensive." So it's a good one. This is beautiful. It inspired me actually to make a video that I'll be putting up September. I think that one's coming out. So anyway, the notes they give you though for this are jasmine, sambac, jasmine, almond wood, musk, bourbon vanilla, cashmere wood and sandalwood. I don't think that really explains what this smells like, because apart from anything else, I really don't think that this just smells like jasmine. This, to me, very clearly has at least a bit of orange blossom, which is why I was thinking about this. At least a little bit of something like orange or mandarin, some kind of very light, sheer fruitiness. And probably something like gardenia. It smells so much like Pure Poison, like it reminds me of it so much. It's like a kind of daughter of Pure Poison, with a little bit more of the sweetness that you get in the Pure Poison elixir that I have. But it's an expensive perfume, so Pure Poison is more affordable. But you get a very similar feeling for it, except that I wouldn't be too inclined myself to wear Pure Poison during really hot weather because of its muskiness. And this I don't think is quite as musky, but they're so similar. So, I mean, in Pure Poison, if I look at it, it has jasmine, orange, bergamot, Sicilian mandarin, gardenia, orange blossom, musk, amber, white amber, sandalwood and cedar. So yeah, so those are the options, right? If you don't want to spend all the money on something like Jasmine's Marzipane, then Pure Poison's a really good option. The other thing that I've smelt that when I first reviewed it, I was like, no, because it doesn't really dry down with quite the same creamy sweetness. But the opening of this, which is brighter, quite a lot brighter than Pure Poison, it smells very similar to a perfume from Jeanne en Provence, which is called Jasmine Secret. So you can get that for about £12 for a 50ml. I think it's a 50ml bottle, maybe 60ml, I can't remember. That one, it says green accord and peach in the top, wild jasmine, violet, white lily, musk and sandalwood. I don't know why, but I think when I first spray this, it really reminds me of Jasmine Secret. And to a certain extent, it also reminds me of Jan Arthur's Cassandra, what's it called? Cassandra Jasmine. There's a couple. There's one that's got jasmine tea in it, which definitely reminds me of it a little bit. Let me just see. And they've like Lalique L'Amour actually is a little bit similar as well in the same kind of profile. But yeah, Jasmine Secret's a really good price. Very cheap. Absolute bargain. And of course, if you're in the UK and you can get hold of it, there is a... Oh, what's it called? I'm just trying to think of what it's called. Saffron London's Mamba Juice, which is my personal favourite dupe of the original Pure Poison. So I have that as a dupe. I don't actually have just the normal Pure Poison. I've got the dupe of it from Saffron London, which I'm very happy with. Don't feel like I need the real thing because I have Pure Poison Elixir, which is a sweeter, slightly gourmand tinged version of the original. But yeah, anyway, Jasmine's Marzipane, what can I say? I loved wearing it. I thought I smelled great. Got a compliment on it, even though it was a member of my own family. So, can't be too fancy about it. Anyway, I'm going to stop here for this one, and then I'm going to clear this up. I'm going to make the next video, and then that will come out on Wednesday. So if you want to see the rest of what I wore in the last fortnight, then please do come back on Wednesday for the second part. Let me know if you've got any of these, what you think of them. Let me know what you've been wearing. If you're in the UK, or actually I think in Europe, I know France has been crazy hot. So yeah, let me know what you guys have been wearing in this super, super hot weather. Let me know what your high heat staples are. You'll see more of my high heat staples in the next vid. Thank you so much for watching, guys. See you on the other side.